As most of you know, or all of you know, I'm Debbie, Director of Mission Academy, and today I'm going to talk to you about who we are, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. Josh is going to do slides for me. Thank you, honey. So to give you can you go to the next slide? So Mission Academy is birthed out of our not-for-profit organization, Mission Sent, which most of you know about Mission Sent. Our vision is to do whatever it takes to complete the mission of educating, equipping, and engaging our community through the power of the gospel, to live lives on mission, making this world a better place, one community at a time. And this includes starting a school with the purpose of having education on mission. Now, this has taken years for us to get to this point, and it's something we prayed deeply about and just felt the urging. We worked at different schools, and we just knew that God was calling us to start a school. So we believe all children are unique, and education should be differentiated for all students. For those of you that are not in education, differentiation is not something that is always done within a classroom setting. It's oftentimes all across the board, the same thing for all kids, even though we all learn differently. Unless there's an individual education plan, an IEP, not all students get accommodations. Accommodations are everything from extra time on a test, the ability to get up and walk around and move around if you need to, taking frequent breaks. These are all things that have to be part of a federal document for it to have to happen. So at Mission Academy, our goal is to be able to provide this for all students across the board. We know this allows students to be equipped for the ever-changing world. Come in. Hey, Cindy. It allows children to be, equipped for the ever-changing world. So, next slide. What does education on mission mean? It means teaching the whole child with our focus on social and emotional learning, executive functioning skills, center-based learning for real-world connections, how to lead in today's ever-changing world, self-awareness, how to be proactive, how to build relationships that last, and thinking outside of the box. With the way education is now, there are a lot of things that have gone out the window, and not because teachers don't want to teach it, and not because educators don't want to provide it, but there's so much that they have to do that sometimes this gets lost, and it's not a requirement. Next slide. So executive functioning is responsible for many skills, including paying attention. Not all kids know how to pay attention. It's something that they have to be taught. Organizing, planning, prioritizing. Even as adults, I know we often find ourselves sometimes going, I don't know how to do this. And sometimes it's a skill that has to be taught explicitly. Starting tasks, staying focused on them to completion, understanding different points of view, really like how to argue effectively and efficiently without it turning into a conflict. Regulating emotions, that's something I've seen that's across the board when it comes to students from K through 12. They're living in a world where they just don't always know how to do that. Parents are busy, the classroom is hustle and bustle, oftentimes it's overloaded. Again, not the teacher's fault, this is just the reality of what education looks like right now. Self-monitoring, keeping track of what you're doing. Executive functioning skills usually develop quickly in early childhood into the teen years, but they keep developing into the mid-20s. When kids are younger, some may lag behind their peers for a while. As they get older, though, they may have fewer challenges as teens and young adults. Some of these kids don't learn these skills, and we did some research, and most boys were getting their executive functioning skills by the age 16. Now they're seeing it into the mid-late 20s. It's just not happening, or it's happening really, really slowly. So if it's a skill that can be taught within the classroom setting, it's just going to be more beneficial in their everyday life. Next slide. Why social and emotional learning? By teaching students how to identify, process, and communicate their feelings, educators give them a set of tools they can use throughout their lives to calm themselves, navigate conflict, and to build stronger relationships. So a lot of times students can't learn because they don't know how to regulate what's going on inside them. Anxiety, stress, fear. So if they don't know how to navigate that, they're not going to be able to take that test. They're not going to be able to have that conversation. They're not going to be able to be calm and relaxed. And that carries on when they get home because they have all that stress from the day. Not every student, but it happens. Next slide. At Mission Academy, our promise is that students will not be in a class any larger than 15 students per teacher. Academics will be taught primarily in small groups with whole group recaps to reinforce the methods and lessons taught. Academics will also be up to and go beyond state standards for easy transitions if students move, if they go to another school, if they come from another school. We believe in rigorous academics as well as teaching, leading, and guiding students in their walk with Christ at the center of it all. We strive to honor Jesus above all things, and in that we know your student will be successful. We have dedicated, qualified professional educators who are ready to lead, teach, and care for your student. We use visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile methods to engage your students in their academics. Now, what's visual, auditory, tactile, and kinesthetics? Some students learn by seeing, some students learn by doing, some learn by hearing, and some students learn by play. So we believe in play-based learning, doing real-life things in the classroom that can help them be successful as they move on to higher grade levels and into the real world. This was a lot faster than I thought it would be. We do have, could you go to the next slide? So we have our text-in service where if you text, you can keep up to date with what we have going on next, what other offerings we're going to have, and right now, I mean, I'm open for questions if anyone has any questions. Did you have a question?
How are you going to deal with a range of kids from learning disabilities to gifted?
So that's why the small group setting with 15 kids per class, and then our goal is to have a paraprofessional rotating through the classes with the small groups. They have more of an individualized one-on-one, so kids will be grouped according to what their ability is, so they're not competing against kids that know more or can do more. So they're in that group with kids that learn like they do. Yes, ma'am?
Don't you think some of the changes that you're making are a bit, big? Because don't you think there's sometimes reasons that they don't teach this type of stuff in regular schools?
Mm-hmm. Yep, they can't. There's a lot of stuff that they have to do that if you look way long ago, some of these things were taught in the schools. But as time passed, I mean, I know as far as public education goes, and some of us have been in public education, I mean, sometimes kids are testing once or twice a week for the same subject. So they spend a lot of time, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with testing kids, but they have to have these other skills to be able to test efficiently and effectively. So as times pass, there's more of an expectation for students to test well, but we're not teaching them how to handle the stress that comes with all of that. So that's why at Mission Academy, the goal is to teach them the foundational levels of things and how to cope with real life, and then they can learn academically. So
is this going to be K through 12?
Our goal is eventually to be K through 12, yes, right now. A lot of that's going to depend on our facility. So we're looking for facilities now, and we're working on obtaining the funds to get into the facility, because being a private school, we can accept Step Up for students. But until we have a facility, Step Up won't even communicate that we're a school until they have the facility. So our goal is to fundraise, get the facility, connect with Step Up, and then we can accept all of those scholarships. And that way there's not a burden on the parents, because, yes, ma'am?
Will you be subject to any other state or federal regulations if you do get to the Step Up?
So there's, as far as private schools goes, there's a lot that we don't have to do as far as like district testing. What are the other tests that we do? The state testing, district, we don't have to do any of that. will the kids be tested and will we ensure that they're learning? Absolutely. But it's going to be on the content that they're learning. Right now, I recently talked to a third grade teacher who was extremely overwhelmed because she had 3 days to teach a topic, give 2 tests on it, a district test, and then there was the state testing coming, and the next day, like, immediately right back on it. So the kids aren't having the time to really soak in what they're learning, so it's learn, test, learn, test, learn, test, where in a private setting, we can take an extra 3 days to make sure that they have that information. So as far as being a Christian private school, we're going to have chapel, we're going to have prayer time, we're going to have all the things that you would see in a private Christian school, along with rigorous academics and the social and emotional learning with the executive functioning skills being taught explicitly every day.
But just to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, our goal is still to accredit it with either ACSI or FLOS, which are both accreditation for national and also a global
Mm-hmm.
standard. We will have to provide ongoing progress monitoring and things of that nature to be able to show that our students are learning, that they are progressing as they would in comparison to other kids their age.
Yeah, so they'll be,
Through MAPS testing,
right.
or whether that's done
So you still have to be accountable, right?
Yes,
You have to
absolutely.
ensure that
Yes.
they are progressing and
Mhm.
learning and doing what
But what about curriculum? Do they have?
So curriculum for us, because having been in the classroom for so long, we know that it's not a one size fits all. So that's where we get the freedom from a private school setting where we can accommodate the curriculum for the needs of what the children we're serving. We can choose our own curriculum.
So there's no regulation?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Will they be divided per grade?
Well, the K through 2 will probably be more of a multi-class, and that will have 2 adults in there, a teacher and a para. And again, that's where it's going to be. They're going to be in their small group settings because kids that age together, they learn well. You have the kindergartners learning from the first grade learning from the second grade. And again, a lot of it's going to depend on the facility we're in and how quickly we can get in there and make sure we have everything we need. Our goal is for summertime to be in a facility where we can have our summer reading camps, our math boot camps, so kids can be prepared for when they come in. But again, all of that's we have to wait to get the facility. Mhm.
Do you have a facility like location in mind?
Yes, there are a couple places we're looking at, all in Deltona or Orange City. And then I have another place I'll be looking at this week.
And with it being a private school, what's the monetary stipulations for like payments? Like what would the price be per month?
So that's going to be, we have, I wasn't planning on talking about money tonight. No, you're good. It's going to be comparable to what local private schools are, probably a little bit less. We're not looking to gouge anyone's eyes out. That's why we want to make sure everything's covered. Kids have what they need, facilities taken care of, teachers are paid. But it's going to be quite comparable to everything around. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to do another presentation, send that information out. If you haven't signed up for the text, sign up for that. And then that way you'll get the updates of what we have going on. Yes, sir.
In comparison with other Christian schools
Mhm.
in the area,
Yes.
what would this particular academy provide, either equivalent or above or the same in terms of comparison? Because we have seen numerous schools that we were not even aware of
Mhm.
in the DeLand or in city area. They're kind of hidden.
Mhm.
We didn't know that they were there. They don't advertise.
Right.
The 2 big ones around seem to be with the Faith Christian Academy and also Trinity.
Mhm.
Those are the big ones that most people know about.
Right.
There are others.
Oh, yes.
They have one in Lake Helen, they have
Mhm.
one in DeLand, not too far from Life Point Church.
Right.
It's not connected with Life Point, but
Okay.
where are y'all in comparison, and why is the need there for another school?
So the need is in what we're finding, whether it's a private school or a public school, because there's such a pull to get. A lot of parents don't want their kids to go to public school for, a variety of reasons. What I know we've seen in the classroom being there is these classrooms are bursting at the seams. We have teachers teaching 25, 26 kids, all from varying learning abilities. They can't provide them with that one-on-one or small group setting to really get them that rigorous academic. It's teach and test. So with Mission Academy, we're going to be able to have that more personalized. Each student will have whatever accommodation they need, where right now in a public school setting, and even in most private school settings, you get what you get, and that's it. So we're excited because we get to teach them. We're going to have I had a schedule, I didn't put it up here, but throughout the day, there's going to be specialized time for critical thinking skills, executive functioning skills being taught, and social and emotional learning, specifically during a certain amount of time. We're trying to build kids that are going to be successful and be able to progress and go out through life with the skills that a lot of them just don't have. I mean, a lot of teenagers and adults don't have. It's just not happening. It's not happening. Parents can be busy at home. Teachers they want to provide the kids what they need, but they can't. You know, I know with us, even when you stop and sit down and you're trying to work, okay, I'm going to spend this extra time, you got to go do the next thing. It's so hustle bustle and go. We're losing what these kids need to learn how to pay attention, to learn how to organize. There's a lot of discipline issues happening. And, you know, in comparison, academics, it's going to be rigorous. We have educators that are trained and qualified and have spent many years in the classroom providing rigorous academics, but now they're going to be able to do it on a smaller scale in a more personalized setting. A lot of discipline issues I know that we see in the school system is because there are 25, 30 kids around. Kids have needs that aren't being met. Parents are busy. It's hard to have conferences. We are excited because we plan on parents being involved every step of the way. You know, it's not going to be that's just my child's teacher. We want to know these families. We want to get involved with them. We want to pray with them. We want to help them. We want to show them how to do things differently. Things don't have to be how they've always been. And I think we're seeing a big shift and a divide in education where there's this like tension on I want my kid to have a good quality education, but I don't know what that looks like. And I know for us personally as parents, we've always sent our kids to private school, but we work at public school, and there are amazing teachers in public schools, and there are amazing things happening in public schools. But as the kids are moving on, there's less and less available for them to be successful emotionally and socially and have the skills to really move forward. Yes, ma'am.
What has changed so much? You keep going back to socially.
So
Is the importance social, or do we lose academics?
I think what's happening is because there's no focus on social and emotional learning. I know for me personally, I've worked with students who had a bad night the night before. They came to school, they were dysregulated. Whether they're, sometimes in my class, sometimes in another class, and they're having meltdowns. They're losing, every minute they're in there, they're losing academic time. They're having a meltdown, they get sent to the office, they get a referral, they get sent home, they're missing another day of school. So now, they had a bad day, they got sent home, they've lost 2 days of academics, simply because they didn't know how to regulate through whatever it was they were going through. And if we can stop and provide them with the skills that they need, we can get rid of all that. I know for myself personally, in the classrooms I've worked in, my goal when I first got in there was, I need to know the kids, build a relationship. The academics are going to come. I don't worry about the academics, because once those relationships are built and the kids know who we are, why we're there, we care, we love them, we're there for them, the academics are going to come, because they don't have the social skills. And we're seeing, I know for me, I've seen kids that are 10, 11 years old and their parents are still in their mid-20s. So, we're seeing younger parents on top of that they don't have the skills. So, again, like we're with Mission Academy, we're going to have parenting classes, how to have a conversation with my teen, how to work through, frustrating situations, how to manage a meal plan, how to manage the day, how to organize, all the things that people need to be successful, that unless you really see it day to day in the classroom, you don't even know it's missing.
The parenting class, that's for parents or that's for the teachers?
That's for, well, teachers are going to have their own training, but we're going to offer parent classes as well for parents to be on the same page we're on. Because if they know what we're doing in the classroom, they can provide support at home. And if they need support, we can support them at home as well.
What happens if parents don't want to be involved?
Well, that's going to be one of the stipulations. If you're here, you have to be involved. You have to.
So it's kind of like what charter schools do, you have to put in certain hours, volunteer time to be accepted or something?
It's not necessarily volunteer hours. I mean, we may ask them to do volunteer hours, but it's more so before school starts, we're having this class. Part of the stipulation is you have to attend this class, you have to complete this particular thing, because in order for your child to be successful, you have to have the tools they need for them at home. So we do have an expectation, and there will be a contract that you will be a part of what we have, or you are a grandparent or an aunt or uncle, somebody will be a part of this child's education. And it's not just going to be 2-3 years going by and then nobody sees a parent. I mean, we have to have that relationship. For me personally, every student I've ever had from 6-7 years ago to now, I still speak to almost every single one of them. But they were successful in my class, I'm a pretty good teacher, but the relationship that we had really built everything else. You know, the kids that, they'll never get that, they're never going to learn that. They did get it, they did learn it, again, because they felt safe, they felt connected. And, you know, there are some kids that go through education and never, I went through public education my entire life. I was fine. Nothing happened. But we're living in a different world. And some kids need more. Not all kids, but some of them do.
So how many do you need to be enrolled in order to fiscally make it?
22.
22 families or 22 students?
22 students.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that would be, with the number that we're looking at, as far as the what's the word? Help me out. As far as our budget goes, for the monthly fee, for the monthly cost of the school, it would be 22 kids. But we're still working a couple things out to make sure we get some things to work, because we want to offer, we want to make sure parents have somewhere to take their kids before school, and they have somewhere for them to be after school, because a lot of parents work. You know, the kids will get dropped off at 6:30, and they may not get picked up till 6 o'clock at night. So we're working on what that's going to look like without causing another burden on the parents financially. So we're not 100% sure what that's going to look like, but we want to make sure everything's inclusive.
So that would pay for the facilities, the teachers,
Any incidentals,
okay.
curriculum, everything you can think of. Mm-hmm.
Is there a deadline to receive the information if say, worst case scenario, 22 kids don't sign up? Is there a deadline that information can be sent out to the parents?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So my other question then is going back to parent participation, which I definitely agree that that's important, especially in the classroom settings for it. What about the working, I know you say grandparents are allowed, but in the contract for kids that actually go to the school, you said parents have to partake and interject. What about
Parents or grandparents, aunts, uncles, somebody an adult that is connected to that child that will be with them.
I mean, a lot of times there is none.
And
They're working,
yeah. But as long as we have the communication and,
yeah.
call, we have Teams, we have Zoom. No. Just a face-to-face, someone that we can connect with, once a week. Check-in, progress monitoring, how's it going? Is there anything at home that you need us to know so we can, that's one of the things I always ask parents, what's going on at home? I've had parents that were like, that's none of your business. And once they get to know me, they go, oh, it is your business because it helps you with my kid. So I ask a lot of questions. I interject myself a lot, because if I know what's going on at home, I can be more sensitive to what's going on with the child at school. And a lot of times, especially in a public setting, there are teachers that are so torn, crying, tears, upset, because they're so busy they don't have time to do that. And years ago, they were able to do that. I had that conversation the other day with another teacher. She said 5 years ago, I could sit and talk to parents, I could call, we could do this, and now I can't. And, you know, her class is bursting at the seams, and she's got, you know, 20 kids that she's working on different programs for, and she's trying to get them help, and she's working on the weekends, and she's working after school, and she's coming in super early, and it's just busy, 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 busy. So our goal is to not overwork teachers, to give them what they need so they can be successful, you know, so they can, if the teacher is healthy and whole, then they can teach the whole child. Teaching the whole child is from head to toe. We want to touch their heart. We want to touch their mind. We want to make sure that they are fully functioning by the time they leave Mission Academy.
So 22 students, how many grades? Because I think that would make a difference. I mean,
So right now, K through 2 is where we were starting, and that was going to,
the 22, okay,
actually it's 15. And then we're looking at a middle school hybrid program. We have about 10 families that were asking about middle school. And I mean, we have middle schoolers ourselves. So again, a lot of it's going to be based on how many people are communicating back when I send out information, and when I do have the sign-up sheet for people to sign up, when I do look for the deposits and ask people to do their deposits. But again, I'm not going to do that until I have the facility secured. And I'm not going to take anyone's money or anything like that until I have a facility that I go, this is what we are doing, this is where we are going. So our goal is to get the facility.
Would you say you're close to finding one?
I have a good few places that could work well. Yes, ma'am.
What's the operational opening for the facility? Like, what's the goal in mind, that monetary aspect of it, to be able to secure a facility, so we know moving, no, I know that,
Jo-
but so we know moving forward what.
So right now, we are waiting to hear back from a couple of places that hopefully this week we'll have an answer from. Because as of right now, the bottom line would be, we would need 20 grand to be able to go, okay, yes, we definitely can do this. Because we're gonna have to cover rent and everything until September, without getting any income coming in. Because, you know, students won't be, the first tuition payment won't be until September.
Step Up sends out their payments 4 times
But
a year.
Even
What
with,
about what other amount and stuff?
Now, for parents, again, we won't even take payments until September,
when school starts.
when school starts. Like, I wouldn't,
Is that contingent of how many kids are in the school?
I'm sorry?
Is that payment though contingent of how many kids are in the school? Like, does the payment fluctuate?
As
based on-
long as we have 22 kids, I won't even open until I have 22 kids.
So now, if a place that we're looking at calls back and goes, hey, you know, we'll do this for $1,000 a month,
That's different.
then
Then that would be,
much lower.
yeah.
This is what we need to start with.
Because I have curriculum, I have a ton, I mean,
Everything else we need, let the building.
we have everything, but that's literally the only thing we need is the building.
Day to get into the building.
We,
We cannot find a building by the end of June 15th. Then at that point, we will go, hey, we're gonna stop, we're gonna go.
for the next year.
And that way we can do it, you know, that way.
Yes, sir.
Thinking of Cent, Four Towns, Mission Cent.
Yes.
Academy. If you get this building,
Hmm.
would Cent Four Towns then begin meeting in that building?
That,
That would be the hope.
mhm.
We couldn't guarantee that depending on the building, because, like, one of the buildings we were looking at is another church. You know, so if we got on with them, I wouldn't necessarily be able to, as the pastor, be able to go, hey, yeah, we're gonna meet there, because it depends on their availability, and if they're even open to doing that. If it's a standalone building where it is just Mission Sense building, then yes, the plan would be at that point to move the church to the building.
To have everything in one spot.
And would Cent Church, like Mary, which is helping with the rent of this facility, if I'm not mistaken, is that correct, Steph?
No,
That is not true.
no, we are the ones that pay it, it just, the check is written from their account.
Okay, yeah, I got it, okay.
But at that point, no, at that point, it would be a transition to
Transition,
just Mission Sense.
Mhm. Any other questions?
I guess the question is, of course, hopefully everyone can do the step up kind of thing, but the tuition wouldn't change every month. You come there'd be a basic,
Mm-hmm.
this is how much it is, cause we have these.
No matter who.
No matter who or what.
Right.
This is what it is,
Mhm.
and this will be every month or however. I've never done private school, like
Mhm.
you're doing, I have two in a charter school.
Right.
But it's publicly run, but.
Right.
I'm telling you, the issues there, the overturn of staff
Mhm.
and administration and the thing is just crazy.
Well, they're still run by the district, if I'm not mistaken.
They
They are
are.
still.
They're still a,
public school.
yeah, they're still a public
They're
school.
public school, just
Mhm.
privately ran.
Yeah.
So they have all new administration. Every time I turn around, there's a teacher gone, there's a teacher gone, there's a teacher
And
gone.
sometimes even with administration, it's, they don't even know that they're leaving. Like the district comes in and goes, hey, you're going here. And it's like, okay. So they have to get up and they have to
And they
go.
don't tell you.
Mm-hmm. And you never know.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So one reason, well, because of my granddaughter.
Yes.
And what she's not getting in public school.
Yes.
And what she needs, and can't get into the charter school.
Right.
Because they don't help children.
Right.
They have, because it is privately ran,
Mhm.
they get to pick and kind of choose.
Yep.
Who
Mhm.
go to their school.
Yeah.
Which is that fair? No, that's not fair. But, she needs a smaller
Mm-hmm.
environment and things like that. But also where the communication is there and
Mhm.
that, I'm not saying the teachers aren't available, they're just not, as available as they probably wanna be.
Right. 'Cause they have so
That
much,
child will
mhm.
have the time, and I will say that it's the same thing, the time they waste
Yes.
disciplining them
Yes.
or having to call a parent or whatever is wasting so much of their
Right.
time.
I mean, things like you're not allowed to drink water while you're sitting at your table. I know. I mean, my girls have been written up for stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, I have one in middle school that can't go to the bathroom between classes now.
Right.
They're not allowed to go in the bathrooms between classes, and middle school girls need to go.
They need to go to the bathroom. And
so
it
they
shouldn't
have
be
to
a
go to
discipline
class-
thing.
They have
Mhm.
to be in class for 10 minutes before they're allowed.
Yes. And they can't go for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta go again.
I gotta go. Me either.
That middle time is the most.
It is the most important.
I've never understood.
They're saying because there's things that are happening in the bathroom, things have changed and things are
Mhm.
happening in the
And that is
bathroom.
true,
It is.
but there
But then-
people still have to use the bathroom.
And to me, then monitor the bathrooms. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You're preaching to the choir. I get it. Hmm?
Huh?
I said law enforcement wise, they won't let it.
Yeah, like, so, and I get those things and things, I'm just saying, things have changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I am just looking for somewhere that they can feel loved and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I have one first grade, guy hates going to school.
Yep.
Hate going to school. How many days till we have 2 days off? She's 7.
Aw.
How can she not like school at
Right.
7 years old? That's the fun time.
It is, right.
And nope, she doesn't want to go to school. And you ask her, and she's just like, I just don't like it. It's not fun, and I know they're there to learn, but at
They should be
7,
playing
they
and
should
doing,
be-
yeah, absolutely.
And why, so.
I know,
we
yeah.
do play too.
Yeah.
So we're doing the little ones, and by the time they get.
They're ready to continue doing that with and you just add the academics to it. Yeah, absolutely. Hmm? Yes, sir.
What is the degree required for teachers? Are
They have to have at least a bachelor's degree,
they in what?
preferably education. It's a little, I started my education career without a degree in education, but I mean, they're going to have to go through training and, of course, be vetted. And just because a teacher has a degree in education, we've learned that that doesn't always make them a good teacher. So for me, I have a degree in, my undergrad is organizational leadership with a minor in business. Josh's undergrad is human service counseling. Now, both of those degrees lend well to education. I went back to complete my master's in education after I started teaching, but having that foundation of the organizational leadership, I mean, that really helped me in my classroom. So they will have at least a bachelor's degree.
And then would they need to have continuing education?
Yes. So with Josh and I've actually,
Accreditation,
yeah,
there's things that are blocked.
yeah,
You have to still have continuing education.
right. So, yes, ma'am.
You're the director.
Yes, ma'am.
I get that. Are you also gonna teach, and is there going to be somebody that it keeps up with all the business aspect?
Yes, to all of it. So, yes, I am the director, and for now, until again, we don't want to spread ourselves so thin with just having,
I was thinking the
yeah.
same.
So I will be the director and teaching the K through 2, but I will also have someone that's going to be there to support the office, paperwork, and then, throughout the day, we're going to have a plan time. And then, of course, teachers stay after school. So I'll be there. If it works the way we'd like it to, Josh will be there as well. And we'll have another teacher and then a paraprofessional. And then we have the company we did our nonprofit through. They offer support services for businesses, accounting, all that. So it comes with it comes with what we use to get our nonprofit set up.
With that, are you required then to have someone's medical, nurse, that type of thing?
There will be,
It's not a requirement to have it. I am first aid and CPR certified. So
I'm
we have
CPR
that.
certified. Yeah.
But no, it's not necessarily a requirement.
So I'm thinking if you had somebody who was a diabetic,
Hmm.
they wouldn't be able to come to the school because there's not a school nurse.
Well, that could be-
Preschool, so we just have to do
Right.
courses on that, and we could give them that medication, as long as we're trained.
Right.
on it.
And I was going to say there's training that the state
Definitely training.
provides for you to be able to give that person medication, and it gets you certified to provide diabetes medication or to monitor while they're doing it themselves. I know there's a student at another school, he was 5 years old, and he was monitoring his own blood. His mom taught him how to do it, and he'd give himself his medicine every day. So I think each of those situations will be looked at individually. And if it's not something we physically can't provide, I would never put a child in a situation where we couldn't give them what they needed. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What are the degree requirements for a paraprofessional?
At least a high school diploma, and then training. Of Josh and I have done training at other schools. We've taught educators, so we would give obviously some training and send you to whatever courses you needed to get to be able to work effectively. I mean, you can work with kids without a certificate, but just so you would be prepared, or whoever would be prepared to be in that situation. Does that make sense?
All right, so what if in your 15 students, what if 10 of them are kindergartners, one first grader, 4 second grade, I mean, how do you?
So I've taught in classrooms like that. That was primarily what I taught in. And I group them not according to their grade, because just because the second graders in second grade, they may not be on that level. So I may have, yeah, it's more so, where are you? Where do you need to be? And what do we need to do to get you there? And everything is centered, right. So then we can increase activity and play and academics where they need it, and decrease if we need to get them to where they need to be. So I've always had great success in center-based learning and small group classrooms. I had a full-time paraprofessional both years. I mean, and our numbers skyrocketed. The kids were doing fantastic. They were happy. They were healthy. It was a great experience for everyone. So again, the grades, yes, I wouldn't put like a first grader with a sixth grader, but between kindergarten and second grade, there's so much that overlaps there.
So you're basically you're not saying first grade or kindergarten, you're saying reading level this,
Mhm.
mathematics level this.
Yep.
Okay.
Because you may have a kindergartner,
The testing is on that level.
right,
So it doesn't matter, and you don't have to report.
right. It does. I don't have to say I gave them the second grade test.
Right.
Okay, I gave a kindergartner a test that I would give a second grader. But again, we want to make sure that their skills they're learning. So all the state standards are going to be taught, and we're going to ensure that they're learning each standard. Some kindergartners may be, right. And I mean, everything will be where it needs to be by the end of the year. And having taught like that before, I mean, I'm comfortable in going, okay, this is where they are, this is where they need to be, and this is what I need to do to get them here. Instead of just learn this material, take a test.
So do you have to do all the state standards, or can you pick and choose?
No.
what you think are-
We can pick and choose.
Okay.
So with the way it works with Becca curriculum,
Yeah.
Becca is published right here in Florida from Pensacola Christian College. They do align to the state standards. So again, they're going to get the same education. They're going to learn the same facts that if they went to a public school or The difference is when you use a curriculum that is not tied to the state standard, it allows you the flexibility now to work out your own pacing, to work out and go, okay, hey, we do have this kindergartner that is learning on a first grade level. So instead of
Stopping them.
stopping them and holding them back, we can actually push through with that. This is why, like, and it sounds funny, but like Doogie Howser graduating at 12. Like, this is a possibility if they have mastered all of those competencies.
Sometimes kids are, they're 17, 18 years old and they're graduating with their associates but they couldn't leave high school until they checked off all these boxes but then they're leaving with a college degree. So,
Sometimes that ceremony is before the high school.
right, they'll graduate with their associates before they get their high school diploma. So, any other questions?
Will lunch be provided?
Today, at the school, we were working on a couple things when it comes to lunch.
Because I can have the food program, you can do.
You do, I know, yeah.
It's great and it's easy. It really is.
And they come to you, right?
No, you make it yourself.
You make it yourself, okay.
You can have a catering place do it,
Okay,
I guess, but I don't know the cost for that.
okay.
But it's really not that hard. It's really not.
I would definitely lean on you for that.
Yeah, and it's the same as the schools use.
Okay.
It's the same, just in a different, I don't know how they consider.
Well, I know a private VPK I worked at, they did this food program.
It's very simple. You don't get paid for anything, but you're going to get paid for the person who preps it for you.
Right,
And then you get paid a certain amount for each meal. But the burden on parents, it's wonderful.
mhm.
That if I don't have to bring breakfast, lunch, and a snack,
Right, right,
look how great
yeah,
the kids get a more nutritious
right.
meal that way. There's certain things
You have to provide for them, right.
they're not eating.
Won't there be more regulations though? I mean, like, even to operate a daycare, you have to have certain things if you're feeding a child, if you're.
Well, that's what she has
I own a preschool, so
Yeah.
the food program can be it's a federal food program, so it's what, I'm just saying, Volusia County uses it, the schools use it too.
Right.
We're on a different maybe level as them, but it's the same thing, and bringing a day and everything, but
she was saying they make the food for you.
we make the food at our school, but you can have it.
You can have it made for you, yeah.
Like, my kids got Ivy Hunt, it's catered in from Volusia Pines.
Okay,
They don't make it at Ivy Hunt. You have to tell them you're eating hot lunch in the morning.
right, and then they'll bring it over.
And they bring it, so it's.
But do you have to have inspections for cleanliness or?
She's gonna have to have inspections
sanitation?
anyway.
Yeah. Step Up will come in, since it's the state program, and they'll make sure everything, like,
Yes.
they check for fire extinguishers, they check for, like, microwaves in
Like,
classrooms.
Like, who inspects you guys? Like, is it
It's
just-
the fire marshal, Step Up. DCF doesn't come in because we don't operate a daycare.
Yeah.
So if we were doing the child, the 0 to 4, they would come in and do their own inspection.
So, like, fire marshals go in and check churches.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're
They check
visiting a
everybody.
church, will they be doing you separately
Mhm.
than they do the church?
Mhm. Because they have to do it under Mission Academy
Okay.
and go, yes, Mission Academy has everything they need in the space that they use.
So if the church doesn't have the extinguisher.
We have to make sure it's there.
you have to make-
Mm-hmm.
The church would have it anyway.
Right, they should.
Thing.
They should.
Right.
Sometimes, I mean, it can be just a battery works one day.
And then it doesn't.
Next day,
Like,
and
the
then
exit
you
sign
get-
is out.
then you
Yep.
get
Right.
fined.
That's when they come.
So the
That,
fine-
yes, that's true.
But the fine would go to the school, not the church.
Right.
If that were the case.
Well, the church may also get the fine.
Because they may do both at the same time.
Right.
is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or it affects both
And with
entities.
that,
Right.
communication would have to be most definite between the school and the church, if that was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had experience where we had a group using the church and they didn't tell us that they scheduled an inspection.
Oh, wow.
Fire
Right.
marshal, and all of a sudden they show up when the
You're not
school
prepared.
or the group was not even there.
Right.
Well, why are you here?
That's
"Oh,
not
we're-"
nice.
No.
And I'm like, so, and that can end in a
Oh, absolutely.
very quickly. And along with this is, is it just you and Josh that are functioning
We have another, someone out, actually, Shelby Manchester, the one that comes to church here. She's on our board as well.
So you have three people?
Right now,
Okay.
we will have more, but right now we have the three of us. Mm-hmm.
So technically you guys own the school, you're gonna be running the school,
Mhm.
it's your school.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So if you guys are going, as far as food, if you guys are gonna be making the food or having it catered,
Mm-hmm.
we'll just say that you guys are gonna be making it. I don't know what the type of certification you have to have for a school, but I know in order to touch food,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be certified.
Yeah, it's like food safe certified.
Online.
I wouldn't want to touch the school. I mean, I wouldn't want to touch food.
Management, you have to go to an actual class, and it's
Yeah.
like a 4-hour class or something like that.
I would do the whole bring it in. Yeah. Because if there's a kitchen, there's other things that have to be inspected, and I'm not,
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I don't want to add a burden that doesn't have to be there.
Plug-in.
Right. A microwave or,
It's not a
mm-hmm.
commercial kitchen, so.
Well,
Right.
We're not a commercial kitchen, so there's certain, like, we can't cook on top of our stove.
Oh, okay.
Unless you have one of those big things.
sauce.
So we just don't use it, but we can use our oven.
Okay.
But there's so many other foods.
Right.
That you can make sandwiches.
I think that's why they took out the oven here, right? Something like that.
Well, it's the city of Deltona.
Yeah.
so it's-
Well,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have to, you know, like, it has to
But
be
I mean,
one of
they
those.
wanted to find because there was a plug-in waffle maker.
Mhm.
that we had.
Yes.
You gotta be, like, we took just
So
all
you
the burners.
can't- I'm
There's
saying
always-
any of those things you couldn't
A
have.
microwave in a classroom.
You can use a microwave,
Yeah.
you can use a roaster pan, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things, but we cook for almost 100 and something kids a day with that, with a microwave and an oven.
Wow.
You know, there's plenty of things, it's kid-friendly food.
Yeah.
So chicken nuggets, sandwiches.
I made green eggs and ham in my classroom a few years in a row with a roaster pan and, yeah, pancakes.
But I'm just saying that, like, is a good, I don't say selling point, but.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
One of the main things is a parent, a lot of complaints I hear is that they have to bring. lunch
All the
to
food.
And then the teachers, if they bring heated up lunch, then they have to heat all that stuff up separately.
Right.
And then Susie Pugh over here is crying because.
She has
she
chicken
got
nuggets.
a and a Rice Krispie treat. and
Right.
She's gotta eat apples.
Right.
You know? And I do find that children will try a lot more food when they're fellowshipping together.
Everybody's doing it at the same
and
time.
eating together.
Mhm.
My grandkids will not eat a green bean at home, but I'm telling you, at my work, they eat every single.
They eat it all up?
on their plate. Don't know why, but that's because
Everybody else is doing
their
it.
friends are eating stuff like that. but-
Positive peer pressure.
Positive peer pressure. All right, I want to say a big thank you to Miss Cindy from Kid City. Thank you, Miss Cindy. She brought some donations. So did Chick-fil-A in Orange City. They provided us with some free food coupons, so I'll be handing those out as well. I want to pray before we go. Well, I'm not going anywhere because we have church at 6. But I'm going to pray us out, and yeah, we'll get our worship practice. Father God, thank you so much for the time you allowed us to be here together. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the questions. I pray that you bless this endeavor and that you allow us the opportunity to serve the community and do what we know you've called us to do. I ask that you open doors where we do not see them open, and I pray, Father God, that you lay upon the hearts of the people around us, knowing that what we are doing is for your glory and to make your kingdom great. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right. Thank you, everyone.